Heaven control, come on now. It's time to get packed up. What is up, people? It's your boy Smoke Joe Star, aka Smoke Man Joe, aka Hello Kitty Felt Blanket, and we are back with another unfortunate video. Now, this was a little different because I tried to tell people about this nigga 3 years ago with the whole bullshit that happened back then, with the way he was interacting with female fans, like the way he was super dismissive of basically anybody that wasn't in his clique. Tried to tell him years ago, and it kind of highlights another issue of how cliquish like black anime fans are with the content creators they support, but that's neither here or there. I'll probably touch on it at some point later in the video, but for right now, let's tackle the subject at hand. But yeah, that tweet, holy shit. You do not tweet shit like that unless you are absolutely fucking guilty and you're trying to devalue or diminish the impact of something that's already pretty much been proven true. So that tweet is in response to the backlash that he's gotten from a series of tweets and videos from user cosplayer. She also streams, I believe, named Lil Etchy Gal. I'll drop a link to her Twitter so you can go see all the videos and tweets in context. But basically, she put out a tweet longer that says that he was overly flirtatious, basically to the point of sexual harassment, and that's not fucking cool, man. The twit longer, Lil Etchy Girl essentially says that, you know, when they became friends, the relationship was mutually flirtatious, which is nothing wrong there as long as it's understood that that's what's happening and you have mutual respect for each other. There's nothing wrong with having a flirtatious friend relationship. But there comes a point when there need to be boundaries set, and boundaries have to be respected. Because in the twit longer, which I'm also going to leave a link to, she says that, you know, it was openly flirtatious. They knew what the fuck was going on, but it got to a point where he would try to take it too far and try to kiss her, and she would reject him, and he would try to go back again, which is obvious that somebody doesn't understand or respect your boundaries. If like you give them the hard no or signs that you're not interested in that type of shit and they keep going for it, cut them the fuck off. And the thing that as men we have to understand is that just because consent was given once does not mean that it's implied every time. Yes, if she was down to, you know, be flirtatious and goofy and say like lewd and sexual shit and that's y'all's dynamic, cool, whatever. But if one party wants it to proceed past that, you have to make that known that that's what you're trying to do. You cannot assume consent. Never consume or assume consent. That shit never works out. It's also just a shitty thing to do. Just it's like, hey, we always talk about this weird shit. We always talk about the shit that we want to do to each other, so let's just do it because we talk about it. No, that's not how that shit works. And shit like this is especially prevalent in the anime community. I see it a lot on my side because I'm black, so like obviously I support black content creators, being a black content creator myself. So I see most of that shit. Not saying that, you know, this doesn't happen in other spaces, because it obviously does, but I care about my community above all other communities. So if you're black, nerdy, geek, gamer, anime fan, comic fan, whatever, I hold you to a bit of a higher standard than I do everybody else, because I want to see our community flourish. I want to see it be a place that everybody can feel accepted, feel safe, and enjoy the medium. But at the same time, you niggas gonna stop just thinking you can do shit because you have a little bit of notoriety, bro. Like, you are an anime content creator. If I walked up to somebody in Lowe's or at a gun range or at a grocery store and asked them who heavenLyc0ntr0L is, they're not gonna know you, bro. Like, you're popular, yes, but it's a very niche community, bro. You're the best of the losers. Calm the fuck down. And with that being said, there are a lot of people who will sheepishly follow these content creators like they can do no wrong, bro. Like, these niggas are humans just like us. These niggas get horny just like us, bro. Like, nobody's exempt from doing any type of negative thing, no matter the extremity of it, bro. Like, just because you don't think that he would do some shit like this does not equate to unequivocally saying that he would not do some shit like this. That's you're tripping. And I really think a lot of it leads back to like this like low level idol worship, because there aren't a lot of, you know, overwhelmingly popular black creators. Yes, they're popular in our community, but outside of that, like, so they cling on to them and try to like amplify them, put them on a pedestal basically, and just try to absolve them of any wrongdoing at any and every turn, and that in turn enables them to do more bullshit like this. Because this is not the first time this has happened. This is not the only person that it's happened to. People get accused all the time, but what separates an accusation from an indictment is proof. And Lil Etchy Girl had a shit ton of it. Like, she explained the story in her twit longer. She put out the tweets and texts that they had shared with multiple videos of the action she described taking place, two different people's POVs of that same situation, the follow-up, and other women that have come out basically saying he's done shit along those same lines. And instead of offering any type of rebuttal, any type of corroborative evidence, any type of proof of innocence, he put out that tweet. Now, I'm not a forensic scientist. I'm also not a licensed psychologist, but usually when your first response to adversity is negativity, not neutrality or even positivity, if it's negativity, usually that thing is affecting you in a way that you know it should, if that makes sense. So hypothetically, let's just throw out a scenario. Somebody calls me a crackhead. I know I don't do crack. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna laugh it off. I'm like, ah, yeah, you know what, you're probably right. Love that shit. Because I know I don't do it. Now, if I go up to a known crack addict and call them a crack addict, they're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck you talking about, man? I don't do that shit. That's not me. I don't do that. That's illegal. All right, a little bit of a better example. So when Johnny Depp came forward about his accusations of Amber Heard being a domestic abuser, and people were saying you abused her, and he said, all right, cool, here's video proof, multiple stories from different people, even people on her side that can corroborate what a shitty person he is. That was his response. It wasn't, you know, this fucking weird ass deflective tweet of like, oh, you know, people are gonna hear what they want to hear, but the real ones know what's up. And like, I've always hated that, because it's basically an admission of guilt without, you know, saying you're guilty. Because the first stage of that type of phase is essentially, you know what, I'm gonna call people that believe that dumb and make them feel bad. And then I'm gonna praise my audience because they're quote unquote the real ones and they'd support me. It's a basic deflection tactic that works miracles for some fucking reason. I guess people are just that dumb. But I ain't going for it, nigga. I done seen a bunch of shit. Usually when motherfuckers say shit like that, that means they did exactly what you're accusing them of. And you see it with conservatives and Republicans. Like, conservatives always call themselves free thinkers, and anybody that doesn't believe what they believe is a sheep. And this is that exact same situation. Like, calling people puppets does not make them feel bad for calling you out on your shit or taking action when action needs to be taken, bro. Like, you're just making yourself look worse. Because the thing to do if you didn't do it would be ignore it until it got serious enough to where you had to respond. So, I mean, like, if you didn't do shit, okay, cool, somebody's just talking on the internet, whatever, it happens. I get you're in a position of popularity, so that's gonna happen. People are gonna make random accusations and shit, but these women, specifically Lil Etchy Girl, are offering proof from multiple perspectives. Undeniable proof, video evidence that you cannot alter to the extent that you would need to alter it to make it look like you actually did this shit. But specifically, that tweet struck a nerve with me because it's the same shit that everybody does anytime they're on the chopping block for something. And like, we as, you know, black consumers, specifically black anime consumers, have got to stop giving niggas a pass when they are actually guilty just because we like them. Because I've seen niggas get on here and say wrong is wrong no matter who does it, and then come up with every excuse in the book about their favorite or why they shouldn't be getting accused of this or why they would never do that shit. And I'm like, man, keep the same energy, bro. Like, if niggas is wrong, niggas is wrong. It's that simple. And calling people puppets, like just saying, oh man, anybody that says anything can control y'all and get a reaction out of you. I mean, isn't that kind of what you're doing by making that tweet? Essentially, basically rallying your troops to come support you, because you know damn well most of them are black and most of them want to be perceived as, you know, independent or real. So you put out a tweet that plays to their biases while not absolving yourself of guilt because you know you're guilty. Think that's what's going on, man. I think that's the flavor of the month, specifically in the black anime community, because the same thing happened with Long Beach Griffey a while back. That actually turned out to not be true. So that's good on that end. It's happened with a couple of other creators, like I believe I Am Dante was one of them. Hell, even Corey Kenshin has had accusations thrown at him. But like, proof will always cut the shit. Not putting out a tweet saying, "Lil, y'all are puppets for believing anybody that's not me. Hi, keck. Subscribe to my channel. Donate to my Patreon. Fucking sub to the Twitch." Stop denying proof when it's right in front of your face. And that's what this is. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link to Lil Etchy Girl's Twitter, her twit longer and all of that, just so you can go through it yourselves. But that shit just struck such a fucking nerve with me, man. If we want better, we need to do better. And remember, every meal is the last supper when you're God. Have a nice day.